Alright, so it is finally time to do the big weekly review. Main things I just want to go over is kind of what my mistakes were from the previous week, obviously the huge red week there, and then the goals that I set for myself this week. So the mistakes that I made were didn't respect the higher time frame, didn't set the proper profit target, didn't take it the right area, traded the wrong time frame, didn't trade the right pattern, waited too long to take profits and gave too much leeway for the stock to run back against me. I forced my own risk reward onto the market. I gave the stock way too much room for a loss, and I didn't give the stock enough time. So the goals that I set were to take profits at the correct spots, setting proper profit targets. If it doesn't make the move, I need to rethink the plan. Don't let your partial turn you negative, and I had plenty of opportunities to cut losses. So the week overall, I made 62 bucks. I mean, I didn't have a single trade that was a winner over $50. So I mean, some of the trades that I did take were going to be over $50, but I think just because I was coming off of this huge red week here, I was playing it a lot more conservatively, really trying to make sure that I'm keeping my profits and not giving anything away. So overall, I got 62 bucks, but I spent 68 in commissions. I mean, some of these trades that I were taking, they weren't. It doesn't look like. Okay, no, I took one 500 share trade, but other than that here, I mean, these aren't like huge position sizes or anything. So, I mean, the commission stacked up, and my winners just weren't. They just flat out weren't big enough to cover those losses. But 62% win rate, definitely a good thing. I mean, I kept a lot of my profits that I got in most of these trades here. I mean, the biggest loser that I had was this EXPE, which I gave a 9 for the compliance, which entered before the signal. So I mean, that was probably the only really big mistake that I made. And then it looks like the first two trades that I took, I gave myself an 8 and then a 7. So the GM and the HMNY, as I was up 1R, and I didn't take my partial. So there was already kind of going against my goals that I set for the week already. So let's just get right into it and see what happens. So GM, okay, it was GM. I took it for a short. I'll make this faster. I think every time I click the faster, it speeds it up by like 1 second per second. So right now it's like 4 seconds every second or something like that. So I took it short, 400 shares. Market was 1, volume was 100,000, 3% gap. So I was risking 46.50 for 46.15, and I was in at 46.37. So this isn't the trade right now. This must have come later in the day. It might have been a missed trade here. It's a pretty good looking pattern though. Obviously I don't want to short it because we're above the VWAP, but look at that, it's breaking through it pretty hard. Close below it. Okay, so now it's looking like a good short because it holds below, comes back, retests, and again closes below. I didn't look at the 5-minute chart at all on this, so I was risking upwards of 60 cents. 50 cents. Okay, so 50 is right about where the 9's at. So I'm in the trade, get a really quick move down. In the trade, kind of struggles breaking underneath it, but then we get a big move there. So I was risking 13 cents. So right now, I don't think I caught it fast enough there. So it went down to 28 cents, I think. Looks like 30 there, 29, 28. So I'm up $36 on the trade here. Yeah, I see a bunch of 27s. 25 in there, I think. 26. So I mean, it got about 10 cents profit in there. Pulls back a little bit. Pulls back. Wow. Pulls back really hard against me. Okay. Well, I don't I know I was trying to obviously prevent it from running against me like that. 0.27, max 45, and then 45, and it'd be a $32 loser. So I mean, I don't know, that's a tough one because I mean, that was a really fast move there. The only problem is, you know, should I have moved out? Well, yeah, clearly there it is right there. Figured it could have gone a little bit lower than that, but oh, that was the 5-minute right there. Come on. So I definitely cut that loss pretty quick there. I mean, that was a pretty quick squeeze, and I don't know, when a stock's moving against you like that quickly, I mean, maybe it is best just to get out and rethink the idea. Okay, so here's the 5-minute. The 5-minute looks really good for a long, actually, but I took it short. Yeah, look at that crazy wick there. I mean, that was the close of the 5-minute too. I don't know. That's I guess I didn't really respect the 5-minute time frame, but I mean, no, I don't know. That's maybe I shouldn't be shorting that one like that, because I mean, you can see here, I mean, even yeah, it's gonna break underneath it, but I mean, got all that support there. I mean, that's a pretty big run up, and then it comes back, kind of bounces off. I don't know. 2285. That's GE. I'm looking at the wrong page here. 24th. Okay, GM. 4726 was a high. 4625 was another area. Yeah, well, bounced right off of that 4625. So that was a pretty significant daily level. I don't know. That's I'm really squeezing myself on that one. I think I made the same mistake in not respecting the higher time frame. Didn't respect 5 minutes. Told me it was a much better long. But I took it short anyway. I think that was one of those situations where I just didn't want to miss the trade, you know. Yeah, it could break down, but I mean, the 5 minutes telling me something totally different, but I just totally disregarded that and took it for a short. There's breaking down again, but I mean, hopefully I recognize, you know, don't want to take that. Okay, so I'm in HMNY here. So obviously a falling wedge. Took it long, risk of 1480. I was in above the whole number, looking to get about 30 cents out of it to the pivot line, it looks like. So obviously the 5 minute kind of bouncing off of the 9s here. I took it on the 5s too. Yeah, I took it on the 5s. So get a nice initial move here. My risk was 80 cents. So kind of a breakdown back into the pattern here. So I'm taking, I'm risking 20 cents here. I'm definitely playing it much smaller. Yeah, I'm only risking $35 on this trade. I think it was because my confidence wasn't super crazy about it, because obviously it's got to run through, you know, all of the other moving averages, even on the 1. Yeah, the spread's kind of wide too. So right now, I was risking 20 to make 20. So right now I'm at my 1-to-1R. Volume's not the greatest. But it's still not breaking anything, you know, it's holding above the 9, so I mean, it's a pretty good trade there. So right now I should be looking to be taking a partial, because I'm up 23 cents on the trade. Actually, I'm up 20 cents on the trade, risking 20 cents in general. So where is it? Cents at risk. I'm risking 23. but somehow I only get $13 out of this trade, so I'm up 30 bucks on it right now. I need to be. I understand that obviously I'm always trying to get it to my exact profit target and whatnot, but I mean, there are always areas. So if I'm going to be taking a confidence trade of 3 and I'm up 1R on the trade and it's already, you know, headed straight into resistance, and I'm up, you know, my 1R on the trade, there's no reason that I shouldn't be taking any profits on that. You know, it gets rejected a little bit, comes back. You know, same situation. I'm still not taking anything. Not taking anything, but we are headed right into it, and then finally I kind of bail on the trade a little bit late there. Very late, really. I want to see. So 5 minutes later, this was at 14.90. So it turned right back around. I mean, it was there, and I didn't take it. So mistakes was headed into resistance, up 1R, and I didn't take partial. Alright, so kind of repeating the same mistakes there. Almost borderline 3 weeks in a row here. Don't know what happened on cat. I think this cat trade was the one that was just absolutely ridiculous, because I was looking for it for a long, and then, I mean, the thing reset. Yeah, I think this is it right here. This is kind of the same situation with the GM trade that I was taking earlier. It's kind of coiling and coiling. The 50 finally caught up with it. Figured it looked much better for a long. You know, stock's up 5%. It's Caterpillar. It's got a lot of momentum behind it. I know it's got a really good daily. And then, you know, it's holding above the 5, and then the 9's coming up on it here. I'm definitely wanting to take it long, but this thing just absolutely explodes down. I was thinking short, but I mean, it's kind of the same situation. You know, the 5s are telling me that it's a much better long as opposed to a short, but this thing just cracks so hard. That's crazy to look at that. That's unbelievable. I don't think I'd ever see a move like that again. So looking back at the GM. Oh, hold on a second. What was that? GM 400. Oh, I was rewatching the video that I was looking at. And the HMNY, yeah, rolled right back around. I mean, you know, it got close enough. Just should have taken my profits. It's just one of those situations. Okay, so going on to the next video. Not pause. Alright. Only took one trade, maybe. One trade, probably double, or half size start, half size coming in. 250 on AMD, risk of 27 or 72. Taking it long, so I'm risking 4 cents, and then I'm risking 8 cents. And it gives me 10 cents. So I said risk 4 and 8 cent. Profit target is 9, and then 5 away. I was watching a cam here. There was a lot of trades this week too that I missed. I mean, I know definitely yesterday I missed a whole bunch of them on Matt, but I mean for the rest of these days too, you know, there's just a lot that I missed. Like that Caterpillar trade, I mean that's shorting, you know, right into the 9 EMA on the 5, and I mean I just don't do that. You know, it's kind of playing against the odds almost. So I'm definitely looking to long here. It's just a matter of when. Definitely making the falling wedge. So then it resets, kind of comes up out of the pattern, bounces off, kind of sits here for a second, and then we start getting the move up. So I'm long. It's 76. It's a circuit breaker, so I can't put in a stop limit. Bounces off a 20. To be expected, but it's still holding the 9, so it's slowly getting out of the pattern. Then it starts squeezing up here. So I'm full size. I got full size at 77. That might have been a little bit too early there. Okay, so I sold that 77. I think that was one of those situations where I just accidentally clicked the button. So then I get full size at 80, and then that's when we see the real squeeze there. So I am full size average position of 78 cents. So I was risking, at this point you can risk 72. 72 is pretty far away now. 500 was 78. 74 really is probably a better spot for my risk on that second entry. But I still got 72 on it. So I'm risking about 6 cents, and 6 cents from this is 84. 87 will be the 50. So let's see what it does. Okay, very nice move. Alright, so we're up at 87 already. Bunch of sellers there. That's right where the 50's at. So right about now is absolutely where I should be thinking about taking any kind of profit. So I do. Take half. Good idea. Took it at 85 though. It kind of pulled back on me for sure. Took another partial, and then I am all out. So I didn't really give that stock any more room. Once it got up there, I was already thinking it's time to get out. So that wasn't a bad trade. Obviously, you know, looking at it now, yeah, you obviously want to say, you know, okay, well, I could have left that half partial, or that last partial on and, you know, rode the 9, but with the way that it was acting around the 50 and the VWAP was right there, I mean, I would exit the trade pretty much any given trade. You know, you would expect it to be, you know, rejected at resistance, and I mean, it kind of did there. It got up to 95 and then pulled back pretty hard there. But still, if I'm planning on riding the 9 like that, you know, that's where some real profits can come in. And then that's where I would be exiting over there. And remember, ACHC was another trade that I missed too. Made that wedge, but I think at the time on the 5-minute charts, that 9 was pretty close. I didn't want to take it right into it. Alright, so AMD wasn't a bad trade. Max variable was 86, and I exited 86, 85. I mean, obviously, if I waited, you know, I'd get that extra almost 10 cents, but I don't know. I feel like I traded that one okay. Did oh, that was time in 7 as I did not stick to my 9 EMA. Yeah, I didn't stick to it, but I mean, at the same time, you gotta be paying attention to the bigger picture too. You know, if it's coming straight up on VWAP like that. And there's the 5. The 5 is at 94, so I mean, you would expect it to, you know, not break through it just like it does, really. So I think that was an okay one. Alright, day 104. Took Celgene, Amgen, and Twitter. I remember the Amgen trade I shouldn't have taken. Only got 10k volume on it, while Celgene had about 250,000 every minute. And I totally switched it because I remember Celgene made the real big move after I pretty much bailed on the trade. So right now it looks like it could go either way, long or short. Or I want to buy it on the break of 98. And then I think I wanted to add again after it got up to 98.50. Because this is one of those weird trades where, I mean, it's got a small pullback from the high and then basically at that high again and then there again. So I mean, if I'm going to long this, you know, this isn't a place to add. This is a place to take my profits. Because I mean, the chances of it, you know, it kind of got rejected off of this area 4 times. So I mean, the chances that it's going to go up there again and then finally break it this time, well, I'd say it's a much better chance that it's going to get rejected again. So what did I do? Long 40, risk 45, same risk. So it looks like I added. So I was in at 92, and then I was in at 20. Ah, yes, this was where I got the really late entry. So there's the 5 minutes. 5 minutes just got wicks all over the place. That's kind of, I don't know, maybe that's a trade that I shouldn't even be looking at to take, because that's just kind of hard. I mean, you know, you take it long, it's got a lot of resistance. You take it short, it's got even more support. But I mean, it's making the pattern. Okay, so I'm in full size 100. See, the problem now is, you know, I'm taking this trade on the ones, and this 50 is gonna be like right here on the next candle. So I mean, this thing, it really doesn't have anywhere to move. I mean, even if I'm green at all. Okay, so I just bailed on the trade. Left it with a minus 15 on it. I mean, I don't know what would be the mistake on that one. I feel like I kind of forced that trade. I mean, it doesn't really look good for a long or a short because of those wicks in the 5 minutes, you know, and those huge wicks like that telling me that it wants to come off it, really. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to get out of that trade. That's just not a good trade to be taking. It's a bad risk-reward trade all around. So I do like the pattern on Amgen, it's just the volume that's the problem. It clipped me in. I wanted to make sure that it came underneath of this candle here, or the low of these candles. I mean, it kind of did. I think that's a pivot line right there. So I mean, if it breaks under this, it would have some resistance overhead. It's definitely not a bad looking setup, not at all. So then get a really big move there. Ah, yeah, this is the other trade. I was up, I mean, I think I saw it at 92, and all of a sudden it pops back. So you got, yeah, look at all this. 92, 83, 84, 92, 93, 90, 99, 91, 87, 14. So I mean, this thing jumps up, you know, 23, 25 cents on me. So I mean, I miss out on all that profit. I mean, that's $23 that I just lost just like that. I don't know. It wasn't a bad trade. It's just I kind of got screwed on it. I mean, hopefully I go back to it again because I want to know. So this is that. Yeah, this is that trade. I mean, it came down there. It came right at where that last point was. I wrote my profit target to be 174. So yeah, it broke underneath 174. I just pullback on it was too much. It's too strong. Just curious. Another 40 bucks on the trade. Let's pull it back. Too bad. Alright, so now I'm looking at Twitter. Short it out of the rising wedge. Both VWAP. Risk is 1967. Profit target is 20 cents away. So I'm risking 6 cents to make 14 cents, and I lose on the trade 20 bucks. Max favorable was, I was only up 2 cents on this trade. Kind of same situation, waiting for it to get underneath that 20. So I came back and looked at it. got underneath it, touched the 60. Pulling back again, still staying within the pattern. But now, since the 20 is a little closer, you know, now is when you expect to really see the move there. So last we had some support there, and then the high over here is going to be probably a little bit of trouble. So I'm full sized at 61, breaking underneath of this candle, probably the low of that candle. Pulls back on me, pulls back pretty quick on me. Level 2 looked decent. You know, if it's, and then same situation. I mean, you know, you could see the 59's down there, and then Lightspeed changes the candle, because now it looks like it never hit that 59. I don't know why it does that. Okay, so I'm actually up 58 there, plus 15 cents. Still pulling back a little bit. There's no real problems with the trade. Okay, now the problem is you see that doji on the 5-minute there. Never want to see the doji, especially on like a breakout or something, because, well, obviously you want to see not indecision. You want to see, you know, your trade looking like it's going to continue down. So I mean, it's still holding the 9, holding the 20. I mean, it's struggling to move down, but okay, right there is where the exit signal really is. So I'm down 40 bucks on the trade, but I think I got kind of lucky there, waiting for the pullback to happen. Where was that? That was at 51, so I was right about there. So I mean, the trade, you know, it's the same situation. The pattern doesn't end whenever the trade is over. I mean, obviously it's still there. You can still see it. And then that's when the real move came, was over here after the 50 caught up with it, but I don't know what it looks like on the 5s. Yep, see, there's the, probably looks really much better on the 5s too, but I mean, same situation, you know, the 9's pretty close to it. I mean, if I want to be taking that trade, I mean, you know, you play your profit target to what the closest support or resistance is, and since it's the 9, I mean, that's like a risk 5 cents to make 5 cents kind of trade there. Yeah, pulled below it and held, but I mean, same situation. It's just not a trade that I'm willing to take all the time. So then here's the Celgene trade. So I got out at 10.16. So I mean, I exited this trade, or I entered this trade right here, pulls back, still sets up with the pattern, and then, you know, once everything's finally underneath it, that's where the huge move came in. I mean, that's a $3 move right there. You know, I probably would have taken profits into this mess right here. Probably the same situation over here, and then I could let the rest ride. I probably would have exited this trade on this candle too, because that's a big candle there. I don't know if I probably wouldn't have caught that entire move there, especially with the way that I'm trading. So I was trying to come back from that horrible last week. So I don't know. That wasn't a bad day of trading, I guess. I took this Amgen trade, and then I took the Celgene trade, kind of. I shouldn't have taken this trade, because I was taking it right into the 50 coming down on it, and you know, there was all that support, or all the resistance right on it. I think I just forced the trade. I shouldn't have done that. Amgen, only problem with the Amgen trade is I chose Amgen over Celgene. Other than that, the Amgen trade was a break-even trade. And then the Twitter trade, got kind of lucky. Probably should have been maybe a $40 loser, but so mistakes. Mistakes is not waiting for the pattern to play out. Pattern to play out, or the real move. So missed out on that day. Could have been a big day with that Celgene trade, but just the way it is. And then last day was Friday, just yesterday. Yesterday was pretty decent day. I mean, only mistake that I made, well, so far that I think I made, was this EXPE. I took the trade, and for any of my trades, you know, there's a signal, there's a trigger, and then once that happens, that's when you get in. Well, the trigger on EXPE was, okay, well, it needs to break underneath of that 120, but because it was a circuit breaker, I didn't get in on it. So I was looking at Intel though. This is some more missed trades. And then Matt was a really bad missed one there. I mean, look at the pattern. You know, it looks good for a short though. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I mean, the fives are probably going to be all over the place. Can't really tell which way it's going to go. So I think I was probably looking at it, trying to take it short rather than long, because you know we're sitting underneath VWAP, and then all of a sudden you just get that huge move up. I mean, I'm not going to be taking part of that. So EXPE is kind of like a, almost like a VWAP bounce here. What did I said it was a symmetrical triangle. I mean, you can see how it's holding this 120. I entered the trade because I know the 20's finally caught up with it. The 9's coming down on it. 50's coming down. The only problem is, I mean, it's got to break it, so I'm at the circuit breaker, so I can't place a stop limit. So I probably should, I'm not going to say I should have left it alone, but I didn't want to risk having that big move and then getting a really late entry. So I said, okay, well, I'll get in now, and you know, hopefully it breaks it. Well, obviously, hopefully doesn't really mean too much. You got to wait for your signal. And there's 50, and then number one rule for now is I'm never going to be down $50 or more on a trade, because my big losers are absolutely killing me. I can't have that anymore. So same situation again, looking at EXPE, and now I'm wanting to long it, thinking it might come back from the bounce off of the VWAP here. You know, now it's got all the moving averages underneath it and the VWAP, so it doesn't look like a bad long. What did I write? So EXP, not symmetrical triangle, long 150, risking at 32, and I was in at 67, so I'm risking 35 cents to make about 33 cents, so another 1 to 1. So I was in at 67, and I want to get it at the whole number. In the trade, 67. What I really should have done is gone half size right there, and then half at 75, because, you know, just looking at it, you know, we got this one here, we got here and here and here, so I mean, if it's not gonna break 70, then, you know, it's not gonna break 75 either. So I really should have gone half size to start this trade. Okay, I broke it, so I mean, I could have, I remember this one now. Broke 75, but okay, so we got a huge flash there. I mean, we got 61, and then all of a sudden it's at the whole number. So the problem with that is the bid obviously has to catch up. I mean, I'm only up a penny right now, even though the stock is, you know, trading at the whole number. Fives are telling me it's alright. So then we get up to 80, and I'm still holding on to it because I want that bid to be higher. I mean, I don't think that's bad trading, it's just the bid never caught up to it. And then I'm pretty sure I realized that it's struggling a lot right now. So I just bail on the trade. I say, alright, well, forget it. It doesn't look like it's gonna really, it doesn't want to move any higher. The volume's decreasing on it. It hasn't broken the 9 though. So where was I looking at? That's not it. This is it. So it was right about there. I mean, it's slowly grinding up there. Yeah, I could have held on to this trade. I mean, it never broke the 9. It never broke the 20 either. I mean, I can't say for sure, you know, whether or not the bid's going to be close to that 121 up there, but I definitely exited that trade probably a little too early. It never broke the 9. It never closed below the 9, which is obviously when I get out, but it never broke the 9, which is an even bigger deal. I mean, if it breaks the 9, then yeah, I can get out, but I mean, this thing was holding the 9 for that entire move up there. So what I'm thinking, that's not a 1. I didn't stick to my original 9 EMA stop loss. And there's a difference between it breaking the 9 and it closing below the 9. A close below is when I get out, but on this given trade here, you know, if I'm already thinking, okay, well, I'm getting ready to bail on the trade, if it breaks the 9, then I'll get out. But it never even broke the 9, so I think I exited too early on that one. Alright. Look at Microsoft. Trying to short it. Microsoft is at its all-time high. I must have not got in. Yeah, I missed the trade on this one. Alright, Intel's making a rising wedge. I want to short it underneath of the 20. Full size 300 shares. Intel short 150, short 150. Risk is 43.80, profit target 43.60, 72. So I'm risking it's another 1-to-1 trade here, 1.5 to 1. 5 looks pretty good. 5 looks really good. Definitely played it right though. Waiting for it to break the 20 like that. You know, whenever it resets like this, it also gives me a tighter entry point, which you definitely gotta like. So half size at 72, and then I wanted to make sure that it broke underneath the 70, and it did. And you see definitely gonna be wanting to take profits around the low 60s. Starts me down, big buyer there, but we broke through him. I took pretty small size on this one too. So now we're sitting at 64, 63. So now I want to be looking to take profits. If I'm up 7 cents on the trade like this, 8 cents, risking 8 cents in the first place. And it's Intel. Yeah, I mean, in total, I'm risking $27 on the trade. I could have used much bigger size. So that's another mistake. I know I gave it a low confidence rating, and that's why I used smaller size, but $27 is nothing. I mean, that's a really tiny risk that I'm taking on that. Also, my psychology at that point, I was down, you know, I was down 50 bucks on the day, so I think I wasn't super crazy confident, you know, wanting to go full size, take everything I could, so I took it at 62, so I waited for that another penny there. You know, it's starting to bounce a little because I know the 9 is right there. You can see the 50 is going to be right there. I still can't believe that Intel did what it did, because I remember it and it moved 5 minutes later. It was down in the 50s and the 40s. So I mean, it broke through the 9, broke through the VWAP, broke through the 50. I mean, that's just crazy to me. And all that support coming out, I mean, it didn't make a difference. Just plowed right through it. You can see it's right there. But then it starts moving. Let me get underneath it. Down by 55 there. 54. That gets bought up real quick into the candle there. You know, I got pretty lucky that I still got that partial on it. That's such a huge move. I mean, that's crazy. I should be thinking about taking another partial on a move like that. I did at 50. I mean, yeah, only gave up 2 pennies. So I mean, that was pretty good. And I let Intel ride again for a while. Ended up covering it total at 53, but I think I got pretty lucky that I got that much on the trade. Okay, next trade was Gilead. I definitely like this trade a lot because it was a combination of a symmetrical and a descending triangle, which I should have labeled that. I don't know why I didn't. I mean, you can see the triangle come down here, and then you got the top trend line there, and then the 5 looks good, and the bottom trend line is good on the 5s. So, I mean, overall, this is a really good looking trade. I mean, if it breaks under the whole number, obviously. And it's not that if it just breaks under the whole number, because it broke through the whole number, but it kind of got bought right back up right underneath, so I wanted to catch it at the low of the break underneath. Because, I mean, your risk reward on this is pretty huge. I got the 20 coming down on it. So, I mean, this 5-minute candle is like its last chance to really, you know, either hold above it or close below it. But I mean, your reward here can be about 60 cents. So I mean, 30 cents, 10 cents. This is like a 3-to-1 trade here. 10 cents. I put it at 70. I was in at 96. So yeah, about 2. I probably could have, you know, ridden this one a little farther. I think the problem with this one was I was looking at the SPY at the time, and I wasn't watching the stock itself. So whenever it broke underneath, I wasn't paying attention to it. But I mean, it broke pretty hard there. I mean, I'm looking at it at 84, 86, and I just said, okay, it wasn't watching. I just need to take my partial right now. So I took half off at 86 for a 10-cent profit there. And then obviously, you know, that's when it really starts moving. Kind of getting stuck there at the 80s. I mean, you want to see these stocks, you know, you want to see them leave and never come back, and this one's kind of almost looking like it's found some support and it wants to come back a little bit. You know, it pops up again. You know, I definitely took my partial too early on this one. It's got a pretty good move though on it. You know, getting down to the 60s. I mean, it's right there where I wanted to take it originally. You know, that big wick right over there. That's where it's getting kind of stuck. And the problem with this one is I wanted to let it ride, you know, because I was looking at other stocks to trade and I wanted to let it go until it closed above the 9, but I mean, this thing, it came all the way back and I closed the rest at 95, like my entry. So I mean, I lost out on a bunch of profit there. But then I'm looking at Microsoft, so I'm short 100 shares right now. Microsoft was a pretty good couple of trades, I know. Took 100 and 100. Looking for about a 2-to-1. In at 49 and 44. So it's a pretty good looking trade. You know, then I get full size as it breaks underneath that low. The only problem is it's got to break underneath this too, which is where that most recent low was. So I figured if it's not going to do it, which I don't think it did. Yeah, it bounced right off it. Okay, now we get underneath it. And now is when I need to start looking to be taking profits. So we're right at 30. Click the button at 31. Good deal. Still keeps moving lower. Gets down in the 20s, the 70s, or the 17 now. I still got 50 shares on this thing, so that's a really good move. Now it comes back on me a little bit. I should definitely be thinking about getting out now. So I get out the rest at 33. So that was a little late. But at the same time, you know, you want to let it go until it closes above the 9. Which it did right there. And then it sets up again, you know, still making that triangle. My only issue with this now is if I was trading this on the 5s, if I traded on the 5s, I mean, I would still be in this trade from my original position. You see, it keeps wanting to go lower and lower, kind of resetting. So I'm short 300 shares on it again. At this point, it's late in the day. You know, I turned my day green after I was down 50. Now I'm up like 60 something. I'm just thinking I'm gonna take this for a real quick trade. Just, you know, get in and out. I cut my risk in half pretty early because I know it broke out of the pattern. Then it kind of struggled, came back. I was like, all right, I'm green. Let's just cut my risk. Let's just play it safe. But, you know, obviously I ended up making the move, going down to the whole number. Just my original plan there. I mean, that's $30 for 15 cents. You know, it's another $45 trade about. You know, it's struggling at the whole number. A bunch of buyers there. It breaks underneath, comes right back, and then I'm totally out of the trade at totally out as it comes back out of the crazy buyers. You know, for Microsoft, that's a pretty good amount of buyers there. So I mean, overall, the day definitely wasn't bad. You know, it's a bunch of really small winners, though. That's my only issue. I mean, I used really small size on this, cut my risk in half on that trade. Guild was kind of a mess up, and then the only real good trade, I guess, was that Microsoft. So I mean, I missed a lot of profits yesterday. So I mean, yesterday was definitely, I guess, decently lucky. I didn't mark how long I was in that trade. Decently lucky, you know, that I was profitable, but I mean, it could have been much more profitable. But I mean, you can't complain about making money. So I'm trying to figure out how long I was in that trade. So I was in that trade about 10 minutes. So I mean, mistakes I made. I didn't respect the 5-minute. Told me it was a much better long, and I took it short anyways. Headed into resistance. I was up 1 hour, and I didn't take partial on that Celgene trade. I kind of forced the trade. I didn't wait long enough for the real pattern to play out, or the real move. You know, that Amgen. I switched to taking the worst trade, really. I could have used bigger size, and I took my partials too early. So I mean, these are much better mistakes than I made last week. You know, last week I had problems with taking partials at all, really. How did that happen? What just happened? I'll have to fix that in a minute. But I mean, goals for next week. Let's see. Take the best. Setups. You know, I did a pretty good job with taking my profits. Goals, use full size. Because I missed on a lot of profits. I hate to make one of my goals, you know, be more aggressive and take bigger size and hold out for bigger moves, but I mean, there were just some instances where that was the case, really. So don't force any trades. Wait for the real pattern to play out. You know, if a stock isn't if it's not breaking the 9 at all, then there's no reason I need to be getting out. Because if it's holding the 9 as strong as that one trade was, I think that was no, it wasn't Celgene. It was the second trade on EXPE. You know, it could have been a winner. So the goal is recognize the difference between breaking the 9 EMA and closing below the 9 EMA. So not a terrible week. I mean, I'm taking it pretty slow again, coming off of, you know, the huge losing week here. I mean, obviously got quite a bit to make up here. So, you know, there's some work that needs to be put in. But I mean, it's a good start. It's not bad. Definitely not bad at all. It's just gotta keep finding a way to make my winners bigger and my losers smaller. So, you know, overall is a pretty good week. I'll give myself a B. I mean, just gotta come back next time, you know, next Monday. Trying to not make the same mistakes, you know, trying to do better what I do best and, you know, make the most money that I can. So, pretty good review session. Got a bunch of stuff to do tonight. Might practice a little bit here in a second if I got time. And I'll be back again on Monday. Thanks for watching.